Hi, welcome back to 5 Minutes with Fantech. Today, we're here in Platte City, Missouri to meet with Travis Brungardt of Catalyst Construction. Catalyst Construction builds beautiful, energy-efficient homes that are extremely airtight. Stick around to see his unique solutions to make up air. Hey, Travis.
Aaron, what's up, man?
Hey, so we just decided to drop by. We know you have some equipment here and some unique solutions. Would you mind walking us around and showing us some stuff?
I would love it. I'm really glad you're here, actually. We're working on the range hood exhaust now, and we've got makeup air for this, but we're doing something different here that we've never done before. We've got you guys helping us out with dryer makeup air. Oh. You want to help me out on that?
Absolutely. Let's go check that out.
Perfect.
All right, Travis, we're back in the laundry room. What challenges did you face when designing and implementing this laundry makeup air solution?
Yeah, we haven't done makeup air for a dryer in the past. It's something that, frankly, I feel like we've forgotten as builders, that we are exhausting about 240 CFM every time we run the dryer. So, the building code talks about 400 CFM being the trigger for makeup air in the kitchen. We're almost 2/3 there. I mean, we're getting there. It's a lot of air. So the challenge for me was basically wrapping my head around like, well, wait a minute, where should it come from? Where should it go? How should we do it? Because it's not hugely dissimilar from the makeup air at the kitchen, but it is one more thing, basically, is the big challenge. And so it's another piece of equipment, another remote location fan. The switching was something I was like, well, obviously there's a switch on my range hood. It's very easy to add signal wiring to a remote location fan on the range hood. But that's not circuitry that I'm going to have access to. The dryer gets brought in after the fact. So what we settled on, which again, your company, Mark, was kind enough to give us some advice there. Mm-hmm. He directed us to utilize just an interlock, which is basically a clamp, a current sensing clamp that goes around the conductors that feed the dryer. And when the dryer is drawing electrical usage, it opens the damper at the exterior wall, allows the air in, activates the remote location fan, and produces a draw that brings fresh air into, through a filter and then into our return duct.
So when you bring in outside makeup air, it is slightly conditioned. And when you bring it in on someone's feet, that may be okay. But what we don't want to do is bring it in on someone's living area, right on top of their heads, or where they're going to eat, because it just is a little bit uncomfortable.
And I think that kind of leads us to a good conversation that we could have in the kitchen about the makeup air strategy for the range hood.
Right. Let's go.
All right.
All right, Travis. So now we are in the proposed kitchen area. We have a range, presumably, eventually. We have a couple Fantech products. What's going on? What's the situation?
Yeah, this is not anything new. This is, your typical range exhaust situation. We know that the code is mandated. I think going back to 2009, the IRC has demanded that you will provide makeup air for any hood that's going to exhaust more than 400 CFM. And that's a common request in today's modern kitchen. So this is just your typical 8-inch round converting over to a wall stack so we can get the exhaust air out of the house. And this is your hood liner, which is great. So we're working with Fantech stuff here, then it makes perfect sense to do the same strategy like we talked about in the laundry room. We want to make up air. You guys are so slick. You make a solution for everything. So your current switch here, just like what we're using on the dryer, allows us to quite literally sense the current that runs through the conductors and then operate the switch to turn that damper open and then ramp up the fan so that we can balance that ventilation. And that's all we're doing here. This isn't anything that's groundbreaking and new, but I wanted to reinforce that it's a whole house strategy. Everything with you guys is about balance. Everything with us is about the whole house performing well.
Correct. Code-based and common sense.
That's right.
That's what we want to do.
Well, this is pretty familiar to most builders, but I think what they may not have seen before is all the equipment that we're running in the basement. So let's go down and take a look at our mechanical room.
Let's do it. We have a lot of Fantech equipment down here. Just run us through it. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah, this is great because this is an install in progress. Mm-hmm. We've gotten the bulk of the equipment up, but we haven't completed much of anything. The one thing that is complete is the makeup air system for the range hood, which you're standing next to there. That's our remote location fan. which obviously is going to be interfaced with the damper controlled down here, so that when we do get that call for makeup air on the range hood, it can open that damper when it's wired correctly, turn on that fan, and add that makeup air back into what is our return ductwork.
Right.
This remote location fan, again, with the current transducing switch, will be activated as well as the damper, which is accessible here on the other side of the wall. This all hides in a sort of sound wall back here. This is going to go ahead and come across the ceiling, turn 90 degrees, and go into the return air plenum as well. So both of these systems are taking outdoor fresh air and bringing it in to the return. It'll be treated and filtered, diluted with the existing indoor air. By filtering the air coming in before it gets to the ERV, we will substantially then extend the life of what is really that magic lungs that you were talking about.
Yeah, if you didn't do that, I would bet there'd be a lot more dirt piling up in here a lot quicker. So it's great that we have this filter box. These MERV 3 filters are awesome, but they're just going to get the big things out, and that's going to get a lot more particulates out of the air before they get indoors, which is what we want.
So with the damper right next to the outdoors, we're not letting cold air into the system all the time, or hot air, depending on the season. It's closed off.
Yes.
However, when needed, it's electronically actuated to open that damper. We bring in that air across the pre-filter into the core. Now, this is, in my world, this is the magic box, right? Like this is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
We have this ERV core that allows the air streams to cross each other, but never to mix. So that fresh outdoor air, that filtered now outdoor air, moves across this core and gets preheated or pre-cooled with the exhaust air from the house that's already been conditioned.
Yes.
So this is that other air stream. And in this location, we can basically share the energy across. That's the energy recovery part.
Right. Yeah, it's great that you have the dampers on coming from the outdoor ports, because this house is so tightly insulated that if you didn't have these dampers here and they weren't, there was just an opening to the outdoors, that pressure, wherever it would come from, especially from the dryer or from the kitchen range, it could pull that air unexpectedly through, I guess I'm talking about really the ERV. And then you're bringing in cold air, hot air that you don't want indoors. So it's really ideal that if your unit doesn't have a damper, you use a damper.
So each of these Atmo 200E units is equipped with that pre-filter. They're also going to be controlled by your EcoTouch programmable touchscreen wall control, which is very intuitive. So with a simple run through with me or our mechanical contractor, the client can establish a schedule for maintaining this, changing the pre-filter, checking the other filters, and really controlling how frequently this runs to make sure that they're provided with the best indoor comfort and a fresh air experience. Well, I really appreciate you coming out today. I feel like it's always good to get confirmation that we've done a proper install.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate your expertise and really all the solutions that the folks at Fantech have had for us.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Travis.